Morning, ladies. Welcome to our Wednesday workout. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's start with a hip hinge. Handcuff hip hinge. Lots of alliteration today. Wednesday workout, handcuff hip hinge. All right, hands behind the hips. Shoulders are down, chest is open. So while we're opening up that chest, we're going to lean forward, leading with that chest. Hips go back. Knees are nice and soft, and you're going to come up and squeeze those glutes. All right, so we're looking for a nice hamstring stretch here. Stopping where you feel like, okay, that's good, coming up. Never going to pain on the stretching, slight discomfort, okay, just so you feel that nice hamstring stretch in the back. Back stays nice and flat. Chest is open. Not rounding the back, pushing the hips back and making sure those knees are nice and soft, okay? There's your hips back. And coming up, squeeze the glutes. Good. Leading with that chest. Squeezing the glutes. Let's do two more. Feeling that nice stretch up the back of the legs. Squeezing those glutes. Shoulders down. One more. Here's your inhale. And exhale. Great. Shaking those arms out. We're going to do something called TikToks. One leg out. Arms go in the opposite direction. Good.
Begin set.
So, feeling a little hip and glute on this. Going right with a little bit of balance. Swinging the arms loosely. And breathing. Great. Nice. Loosely swinging the arms. Great. Hope you guys are all staying safe out there, getting your cardio in, doing your breathing, eating well, drinking lots of water.
Stop
I
exercise.
know I'm doing some projects at home, which never seem to end, but good to do. All right, we're going to do some windmill arms. Knees are soft. You're going to start going forward with one arm, then the other arm. So we are warming up the shoulders with this, and you're keeping your abs nice and tight. You'll find if you speed this up a little bit, that you will feel your abs while you're warming up those shoulders. So as much range as you can get here. If you have a shoulder issue, keep your arms a little bit lower, no problem. Otherwise, we're keeping our arms nice big circles. And you might find your heart rate starts to go up a little bit. Good, keeping those abs nice and tight. Knees are soft. Great, other direction. You knew that was coming, right? Arms going backward.
Stop.
Again, you want to find that range of motion if you need to. Knees soft, abs engaged. Breathe. Excellent. Nice. Getting those arms warmed up, shoulders warmed up, abs
Begin
engaged.
set 3.
Great. All right, we're going to go into a squat. YT, chest opener. Regular squat, feet a little bit wider than hips, pushing hips back. YT, opening up that chest. If you have a shoulder that doesn't like your arms going up here, you can just stick with that squat T, okay? Otherwise, YT, just a little push back, palms facing forward. So you're opening the chest.
Stop exercise.
On the squat, making sure you're pushing hips back and knees not coming forward. So making that as small of a movement as you need to. Heart rate's getting up, I hope. Mine is. Pushing hips back. V,
Begin set 4.
YT, or VT, YT. Great. Hips back, YT. Nice. Pushing hips back, minimizing any forward movement with the knee. Shoulders stay down. Great. Opening up, small push back. Push back, push back. Good. Almost there. Keep breathing. Chest stays up.
Stop exercise.
Nice. All right, I'm going to shed a layer here. Maybe you will too. Warmed up for sure. All right, we're going to start with some sumo squats today. I'm going to grab some weights, so if you would like to add some weights to this, feel free to do that. Remember, with the sumo squat, you're going to be right outside your hips
Set 1.
and feet at a 45-degree angle out. Start with that position. You can sort of play with it, depending on your knees, your hips, what's going on with your flexibility. So we're going to start with full range, going as deep as you can and coming up, just holding weights down, okay? So the weights are sort of drawing you down, okay? So like a regular squat, quads, hamstrings, and glutes, but in addition, you've got the inner thighs working here, okay? So you want to think about the knees going right over second and third toe in the middle of the foot.
Stop.
And know that you don't have to, as much range as you can do with good form. I don't want you to do this with your knees, so try not to cave in here. Try and push those knees out. And it's sort of like it's an up and down motion, like you're going in between two panes of glass. So you shouldn't be sticking your butt out like in a regular squat, right? So shoulders stay down, chest is up. I'm going to move my weights here and go to some little pulses. Pulses with the squat, pulses with the arms. Small pulses working the biceps. All right, shoulders are down, chest is open. Slow and control with these pulses. Woo, good. Make sure the hands are right in front of the elbows on this. Shoulders should stay down, chest should stay open. Nice.
Stop. Exercise.
Excellent. Shake those legs out. Really good job. All right. Back to your position here. Pushing the knees apart. We're going to stay, I think, with these pulses here. And if you would like to add to this, you can add some heel raises. That's only if you're feeling like this position feels good. It's not super intense. Knees are good. Otherwise, you're just going to stay with a regular sumo squat. If there's any question, this is plenty challenging, and you're working a lot of muscles. You're still working all those lower body muscles and your biceps. Option to add that heel raise for the calves. Great. Woo! Really good.
Stop.
Chest stays open. Nice. Shaking out those legs. Shoulders relaxed. Deep breath. All right, last set. Start whenever you like. Shoulders down, low as you can get here, knees allowing. Small pulses with those biceps if you've got those weights. And if you'd like to add that heel raise, go for that. I'm just going to keep it simple here. I have a little bit of a foot issue going on, so I am going to stay right here. But you go for that heel raise if your knees are good, if your feet are good. Otherwise, we are working those legs, ladies. Inner thighs, abs engaged. Biceps. Heart rate up a little bit, I hope. Nice and deep here, as deep as you can get now. Keep breathing, almost there.
Stop. Exercise.
Woo!
And switch to the
Good
next
work.
station.
All right, we are going to use I think most of you have got these bands. We're going to try a pull down with these today. Not sure if you've done this. We're going to start with arms overhead. If the arms overhead don't work for you, you can go to a row here. They're both pulling motions. Row looks like this. Either way, you've got one arm straight, holding the band, pull down, elbow goes right in the ribs. You're keeping one arm straight over your shoulder, all right? So just like the pull down, working the lat, working the shoulder, a little bit of biceps. Again, if that doesn't work, this is your move. Shoulders down, one arm stays straight, and you're still working that back, it's a little more upper back.
Stop.
So in addition to the working arm, quote unquote, your straight arm is also working by virtue of just holding this band up or out here and resisting the other arm. Okay, so you got both arms working. All right, so second set, we're switching sides.
Begin.
One arm overhead if you're doing the pull down. Knees are soft. Now for me, this band is challenging the way it is. If you have a lighter band or you're feeling like you want more resistance, you simply just hold the band further down, okay? And then you're gonna have more resistance. For me, this is plenty. Good. Because if you're truly holding that one arm straight and pulling all the way down, you're resisting, as I said, with the one arm, got the dynamic
Exercise.
Dynamic work over here with the pulling arm, and again, if you're doing the row, same idea, straight out, pulling back to the body. You can also make that harder by grabbing here if it's easy, okay?
Begin set 3.
All right, set 3, one arm overhead or in front, pulling down. So notice how my chest stays up and open. There's your exhale. Engaging the abs. Knees are soft. Great. Pulling down. Pulling motion if you're doing the pull down. Pulling motion if you're rowing. Pulling motions are great for working the back. Really important to work the back.
Exercise.
Work those postural muscles. We tend to develop the front of our bodies more, which will contribute to rounding and hip flexor shortening. So really important to work that back side, all right, whether it's lower body or upper. So starting here on the shoulder if you can, pulling right down to the ribs. Good. Excellent. And holding really firm with that straight arm. You should be feeling that arm working too. Nice. Last set here, ladies. Hang tough. Straight arm stays straight. Working arm moving. Full range to the body, whether it's a row or a pull down.
Stop exercise.
Great job. We're going to shake those arms out. All right, we're going to go to a balance leg exercise. So, I'm going to hold my weights here if you would like to add weights. No need to add weights if you don't need to, if you don't want to. You're going to start with one leg in front.
Set 1.
And for some people, it might be enough just to stand here for balance. If you need more of a challenge, we're going to do some leg lifts, okay? Coming up and down, pointing that foot out. So we're working a little more inner thigh once again, and quad. Now, if it's easy for you to balance on one leg and you don't need to touch down, you can keep that leg up and do some pulses. Great. Weights optional here, right in front of the shoulders.
Stop exercise.
And again, if you're better off on 2 legs, this is balancing too. One leg in front of the other, knees soft. Okay, and you can do a little pulsing with the arms if you like. I want to add to that, all right? Switching sides.
Begin set 2.
One leg in front of the other. Option to do that leg lift. Touching down, option. Good. Now remember with any balance exercise, it's helpful to stare at something that's not moving. Okay, option to keep that leg up. If your balance is not challenged sufficiently, touching down. Chest is open. So staring at some fixed motion, a fixed object in front of you. Piece of furniture. I'm staring at the camera.
Stop
Helpful
exercise.
for balance. All right, shake it out. Good work. Woo! Okay. Bringing that right foot back in front. Now, if you're standing here, you could also add some punches if you want to challenge the balance a little bit more. There we go. I just helped you
Begin
over on
set
that.
3.
All right, so, and if you're doing the leg lift, up, touching down, as needed. Pointing that foot out, dorsiflexing that foot, or staying up with that leg, small pulses. And a little arm pulse if you want. You want to get really complex here, or we can alternate here. All kinds of ways to really challenge your balance on this. But if you need to touch down, remember touching down, coming up,
Stop exercise.
staring at that object in front of you. Woo! All right, one more set, ladies. Other thing I'm not sure I mentioned, I usually mention, make sure that standing leg is soft so the knee's not locked out. All right, this is our last set. Abs are engaged. One foot in front of the other.
Begin set 4.
Out of that leg lift if you can. Chest stays open. Maybe a little lift here if you like. Work in those shoulders. Inner thigh, quad. Standing leg is working. You're staring at that object in front of you and you're breathing. A lot going on here, ladies. You can do it. Woo! Nice. Nice and tall through the torso. Abs engaged. Almost there, home
Stop
stretch.
exercise.
Excellent.
Switch to
Woo!
the station.
Okay, we're going to keep our weights as heavy of a weight as you have. If you have different weights. Because we're going to do a chest press, all right? And your chest is very strong, really strong upper body muscles.
Begin set 1.
Now, if your shoulders are good, this is like a push-up. You're going to slowly lower out here and exhale as you come together. If your shoulder does not like that motion, you're going to do a closed press with the elbows in and coming up. So a little bit more shoulder work here, but still working the chest. And this is chest and triceps coming up and slowly lowering. I'm going to add some weight to this if I can because it's a little bit light, which I should have thought about earlier. Let's see if I can do this. Hold 2 weights.
Stop exercise.
So you're slowly lowering. Exhale as you come up over the chest. That's why I said if you've got heavier weights, you want to probably use your heaviest weights that you have for this. Okay, I'm just doubling up because I didn't
Begin
have to
set
grab
2.
heavier weights. Now again, the close press option. If you have a sensitive shoulder, you're keeping those elbows in. Okay. And you're just going to slow, just a quick touch down and coming up. Now, as with everything else, you can modify that range of motion. If you have a shoulder that doesn't like to come all the way to the mat, just stop a little earlier and keep it higher, okay? With the close press, you're probably good no matter what, but just knowing that you can modify that range of motion, slowly lowering, and exhale as you come up. Okay, great. Chest and triceps. All right, we're going to do alternating now. Just to challenge the core a little bit. So I don't know if I mentioned you're going to keep those abs nice and pulled in.
Begin
You're going to
set
hold
3.
one arm up, one arm comes down and up, and the other arm comes down and up. So I don't know if you can tell what this does. It challenges the core a little bit more because you have to balance, okay? And it's a little more challenging because you're doing one arm at a time. I always like to do one arm at a time because you can identify any imbalances in your right side, left side, and sort of work on that. Great. Slowly lower.
Stop exercise.
And back to the center. Awesome. Now you can stay with that. If you're still wanting to make it a little bit harder, you can do a simultaneous alternating, okay? And I was asked what that was the other day when I said it in my outdoor class. What's simultaneously alternating? Okay, I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right, so as one's going down, the other one's going up, all right? So a lot more stability challenge here, and your core is really working to stabilize. Again, this is only if you want to make it harder. Otherwise, you stick with the alternating. You will find on this your heart rate gets up a little bit higher because you've got both arms moving at once in opposite directions. Abs stay engaged. Keep breathing. Woo! Chest and triceps. Almost there, ladies.
Stop exercise.
Nice.
To the next
All right,
station.
putting those weights down. We're going to do some bridges next. And for those of you who are able to do figure 4 bridges, we're going to start with some figure 4 bridges. If you want to stay with a 2-foot bridge, perfectly fine, squeezing the glutes, coming up and holding.
Begin
Okay.
set 1.
If you're able to do figure 4, you're going to cross your left ankle over the knee, and you're going to lift those hips up, keeping them nice and even, all right? And I like to add a little pulse here. That's optional. If it's enough for you to hold that, perfectly fine. If you want to add a little pulse, that's a little bit extra. So what this does, while we're working that right hamstring and glute, keeping the abs nice and engaged, you're opening up that left hip. Muscle groups that tend to be shortened in our lives throughout our daily sitting in a car, sitting in a computer, these muscle groups tend to be shortened. So I love to open up that hip when I can, because if your muscles are shortened too much in the front, you end up getting back pain or back issues. All right, coming down, switching sides. Again, if the figure 4 does not work for your, maybe you have a knee issue and that doesn't work, you're going to stay up with 2, option to do some marching, okay? All right, so here we go, other side, if you're doing figure 4, kind of double checking those hips are nice and even. Small pulses or staying put, squeezing the glute here, hamstring activated, glute activated, abs nice and tight. Head and neck not involved, they're relaxed. Great. Breathing, opening up that hip.
Stop exercise.
Nice. All right, coming down, shaking it out. All right, for those of you who are interested in single leg, we're going to do that next. So we are going back to the right leg. We're going to lift one leg straight out.
Begin set
Parallel with
3.
the other leg and do some small pulses with that right leg. Now, if that's too much of a lever, if you have a little bit of a sensitive back, you can still do single leg. This way is a little bit more back friendly, okay? But you can kind of play with that. This, to me, is a little more challenging if your back is good. But feel free to move to this if it feels better on your back. Either way, you're loading up that right leg, hamstring and glute. Abs are nice and tight. Excellent. Small pulsing, dips are even.
Stop exercise.
2 more. Great. Woo! Okay, the way I like to rest my hamstrings is just like that, okay? All right, last set. I'm going to continue with the single leg. It's called single leg hip extension here.
Begin set 4.
Pushing up. And I'm going to do some pulses here. Small pulses. Squeezing the glute. Abs engaged. You can go on your heel if you want to make that a little bit more intense. And again, leg can be here if you like. Or if you're doing it here, you're reaching that heel towards the ceiling. Hammy and glute. Abs tight. Breathing, ladies. Really good. Woo! Nice. Almost there. Backside. Love to work that backside.
And switch to the next
Excellent. All right,
station.
stretch those legs out. A little break. Great. I'm going to grab one and bring my water over here. Oh, that's okay. All right, so we are going to go to a dead bug next. Ab exercise, core stability. So, starting with your hands over your shoulders and your knees over your hips. Now, if you have a back issue, a sensitive back, you're going to keep one foot down for stability, and you're going to do, say, left arm, right leg towards the center. And this keeps the back safe, keeping the foot down, all right? Abs nice and engaged, all right? If your back is good, you're going to keep your legs up, still engaging those abs. Breathing here and extending that leg lever, okay?
Stop exercise.
Now, all kinds of ways to modify this. Single arm, single leg if you have a sensitive back. If you want to do both legs and modify that a little bit, you can simply touch down with a bent leg. And you're still doing both arms and legs, but you've shortened this lever, okay? So it's not pulling them back, okay? So that's another option. I'm going to do this for this set just to show you. You've got both arms and legs working, but see how I'm just tapping down with a bent leg. So I've shortened that lever. Try to get as much range as you can with that arm going back. Good. Arms moving, working on that shoulder flexibility, pulling that navel in.
Stop exercise.
Great. Bring those knees in. Really good. So, again, this is a great core stability exercise, and there are a lot of modifications. So feel free to use the modification that works for you. Okay? Hands over the shoulders, knees over the hips.
Begin set 3.
Engaged. All right, I'm going to go back to the straight leg. Straight leg. Good. I've got my palms facing the center line. I like to position my hands that way because it's just neutral for the shoulders. Okay? And you're still keeping those abs nice and engaged, making sure that lower back is not lifting off of the mat. If it is, I want you to go to a bent leg. See if you can keep it down.
Stop
Or
exercise.
the single leg, single arm option, Okay, so we're keeping that back nice and safe, okay? All right, relaxing for a moment. Last set here. All right, knees over the hips, abs engaged, hands over the shoulders.
Set 4.
Shoulders are down, head and neck not in the vibe of the party. They are relaxed. And we'll breathe. Great. Nice. And you might also feel your legs working here. I know I do I think that's a little carryover from our last exercise. Bridging. Sometimes that happens. But your legs are moving as well. Keeping the abs nice and tight.
Stop exercise.
One more.
Step to the next station.
Great. Sorry, let's just put our hands down, do a little windshield wiper here. Gently dropping the knees to one side. Quick little stretch. Good. All right, planks are next. Gosh, already. Okay. I'm going to start with some high planks today. If you can do high planks. I'm going to start on the bench. You can do these on the ground as well. Shoulders are down. And the reason I want to do high planks today, my wrist is a little sensitive, so I'm going to go my knuckles here. We're going to do some mountain climbers, okay? So, knee up. And this is optional. If you want to just do a plank and hold it, that's fine. If you're able to do the high plank on the wrist, great. If you need to modify with the knuckle, go ahead and modify. And if you're on your forearms, you can either add the mountain climbers or not. It's a little bit,
exercise.
take a break. It's a little easier to add the mountain climbers when you're high up, which is why I'm holding high. All right, so I'm going to go to a forearm plank now on the bench. Again, you can do this on the mat as well, and we're going to do a little tap out with that, okay? So here's your forearm plank on the bench and mat, shoulders down,
2.
little tap out, okay? Yeah, these are just options if you want to add to the plank. If it's going to compromise your form, it's too much, you're just going to stay in that plank. Glutes nice and tight, abs nice and tight, all right? For me, it helps to have something to do on the plank, just to pass the time, so I'm not suffering in silence looking for the end. This way I have something to do, you can count out and in, and of course working that hip and glute, keeping the abs nice and tight.
Stop exercise.
One more. Great. Stretching out a little bit. All right, for the final one, I'm going to do something called a diagonal plank. For those of you who are able to do that high plank, we're going to go back to the high plank on the floor or the bench. Shoulders down.
3.
You're going to bring the knee across the body and extend back, squeezing the glute. Now, you can touch down if you need to, okay? But if you can't hold it up, more challenging. If you're able to do the single leg thing. And if you need to stay in that low plank, and you want to add, you can do like a Spider-Man here, which is similar, okay? Otherwise, we're here and extend.
Stop
Let's do
exercise.
3 more. 2. Really squeeze that glute behind you. Last one. Woo! Okay, we'll stretch. Set number 4, doing the other side. If you're doing the diagonal plank, stay with me, ladies. This is our final set. Cross the body. Extend, squeeze that glute. Option to touch down if you need it. Shoulders are down. Chest is open. Breathing. Home stretch, ladies. Here we go. Remember why you came today. You tuned in. You're working. You're going to feel great after this. Working every muscle in your body, just about as many as we can hit. At least all the big muscles. Cross the body. Squeeze the glutes. Shoulders down. Let's do 2 more.
Your training is now complete. Please wipe down
Last
your shoulders
one.
and continue to
Woo! Yay, ladies, well done. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple stretches. I know I've talked about this, I don't think I've done it recently, but I've shown some of you the stretch, my favorite hip flexor stretch beside the figure 4, which I love. If you've got a bench, a bed, sofa, you're going to put your knee up here. Your other foot is underneath your knee here, knees over the ankle. Shoulders down, chest is up, great. Hip flexor stretch. I like to do 5 deep breaths here. which if I do them slowly, ends up being about 25 seconds, which is a good amount of time to stretch. All right? So chest stays up. Now, if this position does not work for you, you can do it in a standing position, kind of leaning into that hip. And I like to raise that arm up if you're going to do it that way. And if you're able to do this knee on the bench, sofa, bed, you'll really get that benefit. It's really helpful. All right, we're going to switch sides. And remember, if the knee is over the foot on this, you need to move your foot up a little bit. So knee should be over that ankle, okay? Shoulders down. My chest is up. I'm doing 5 deep breaths. Slowly, okay? Feeling that stretch around the hip flexor. Great. Coming up, shaking out those arms. There's one more chest opener, because I always like to end with the chest opener. Knees are soft, shoulders down, chest open. Couple deep breaths here. And as you exhale, dropping those shoulders, chest stays open. Great stretch to do throughout the day, too. Great job, ladies. Thanks so much for coming. Have a wonderful day.